is ALS equipped. B Island's ambulance service is not currently ALS sanctioned / certified, and Blue Island ambulances are not ALS equipped. Barriers seem to be funding for A, EMTs who need ALS training, B, BI ambulances need ALS equipment. Number 2, how many UV lights does BI City Hall, BIPD, BIFD, BIPW, Meadows Golf Course, and the Rec Center currently have? 3, what is Plan B in the event UV lights aren't available for purchase? 4, what is the current BI City Hall, BIPD, BIFD, BIPW, Meadows Golf Course, and the Rec Center inventory for A, gloves, B, disinfectant, bleach, disinfecting wipes, hand sanitizer, C, eye/face protection, N95 surgical masks, D, biohazard bags, gowns, jumpsuits, shoe covers, and UV lights. Back to number 2. Number 2, put on hold. A, Wi-Fi Rec Center. 1, why only one quote? Did this go to bid for best value? If not, why not? 2, is there a high need for Rec Center Wi-Fi today? Question mark. B, Duncan parking lot. C, non-essentials and nice to have items should be put off to a later date. D, Blue Island City purchases should be centralized to reduce waste and get best value. 4, technology, City of Blue Island cybersecurity and checklist. A, update antivirus. 1, update passwords. 2, update backup system. 3, monitor cloud-based data. 4, B, get the privacy notice on water bills, vehicle stickers, building permits. C, the system granting access to @cityofblueisland.org email needs to be reviewed and safeguards put in place. D, ensure the City of Blue Island does not grant third-party ownership perpetual of private data and use in BI municipal contracts. 5, where is BI Finance Committee at with Blue Island Housing Assistant Grant Program? Does one exist, or does a housing assistance grant program still need to be established? All right, well, that's it for public comment. So moving on, next, we have the payroll for this week or this time. 1 second, let me just get it pulled up here. I don't see a payroll. Does someone have the payroll in front of them? Because I don't have on my attachments here on my computer, I'm not seeing it.
Hi, this is Topeka speaking. I have it, but I dialed in. I didn't click onto the hyperlink.
No, I won't be able to pull it up on the computer. I'm just looking for my own knowledge. I found it. So okay. Payroll for this month is $334,337.21. But really quick, is everyone? I know we have Topeka on the line. I know Jim met her, I myself met her, Annette and Dexter. I know it's through the phone, but Topeka is the new finance director for the city, and I know she started in some really tough times here. So if there are any questions, Topeka is our go-to person. So, all right, are there any questions?
No, I'll make a motion.
All right, there's a motion by Alderman Bilotto. Is there a second?
Klinker, I'll second it.
Klinker with the second. All right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 No.
All right. Annette, where are you at? Alderman Alexander? Annette?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, my voice is gone. So, yeah, aye.
Aye, okay. 4 aye and 1 no. Motion is carried. All right, moving on to accounts payable. 1 second again, so I could pull this up. All right, so the accounts payable for this period is $268,104.74. Are there any questions regarding the accounts payable? Anything?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Bilotto. Is there a second?
I'll second it, Klinker.
Second by Alderman Klinker. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed signify by saying nay.
No. No.
Alderman Alexander, are you a yes or a no?
Aye.
Aye, all right. Motion carries again, 4 ayes, 4 yeses, 1 no. Moving right along. We have a quote for the rec center. It's for a Paradigm for Wi. So it's a rec. So what we have next is a quote for Wi-Fi at the rec center. We received 1 quote from Paradigm, who does the, currently does the city's technology services. Are there any questions about this item?
Yes.
All right, Alderman Johnson, go ahead, please.
I was wondering if, due to our finances and things of that nature and the rec center being closed, is it something we have to do right now, or can we wait till later on?
That's a great question. I'm okay waiting. I just want everyone else's buy-in on that.
Yeah, but well, the thing is, we're in a crisis right now. First responders and stuff, needing equipment as well, and what's going on at this current time. But if it's not, the building is not being occupied pretty much, except for Mr. Jackson. If we could hold off on spending this revenue till later on, until we can get a better grasp, just to save the city money. That's it.
Great, Alderman Johnson, would you like to make a motion to table then, please?
Yes, I would.
All
Make
right.
the motion.
There's a motion to table by Alderman Johnson. Is there a second?
Seconded.
By Alderman Bilotto. All in favor of tabling signify by saying aye.
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 All right, motion's carried. Next, we have a quote from Bob's Heating and Cooling. Topeka, can you go over what this is for? Because I'm not 100% what we're doing on this one.
So this one was actually from a finance meeting that was already in place. So I'm not too familiar with this one myself. This will be my first time actually even discussing this one. I thought everyone had already reviewed it already, because this one came from a prior meeting.
I did, Topeka. It's actually a clean and check, like you would do at your home for like the summertime. You do a clean and check for your air conditioning service, and in the wintertime you do a clean and check, for your winter maintenance. But as I stated before, if the buildings are not going to be occupied no more than one person, it needs to be done. But why should we do it and nobody's in the building?
All right. So Alderman Johnson, do you want to make another motion to table this item until later?
Even if no one is in the building, the equipment still needs to be maintained, correct? Just like if it was your home, and if you're not there to prevent more damage to your equipment, it still needs to have maintenance.
Well, yeah, that's true, Alderman, but I'm just saying, I was just looking at our finances, but if it's something that we need to do, but if it could be, prolonged until we get a couple more people, or it will not take us out of warranty, but if it will take us out of warranty by not doing it by any means, yeah, let's get it done.
Okay, well, make sure, maybe we need to make sure that that's part of the warranty. And if we need to do it, then it needs to be done.
So would you all like for me to follow up on this quote?
No, I don't
And-
know. What's everyone? Alderman Bilotto, Klinker, what are your thoughts? Do we want to keep with the maintenance schedule or hold off? Because we could run into a
Alderman Bilotto
situation.
here.
Hold
Yeah,
on,
Alderman
Fred.
Bilotto here. I agree. If it's a regular maintenance contract, I'm fine with keeping it because it would void the warranty if we don't do it. And considering that it's mostly all new equipment within the last 4 or 5 years, I'd like to keep it functioning. We definitely don't want to have $1,000 turn into $30,000, $40,000 because of not doing it. And I know just from my school district experience, when I was heads over buildings and grounds, when I was assistant principal there, that if you don't maintain this stuff, it can degrade rapidly. Like if a certain filter is being clogged or something like that, it costs the fan blower to go out and so on and so on. So if deferring maintenance on this would cost us a lot more in the long run.
Thanks, Fred.
I agree.
I agree because we're running into the situation with the police department where we're now going to have to buy all new air conditioners for that building. It's probably going to get very expensive. So I think if we stick to just the regular maintenance, it would save us money in the long run where we're not coming back 2-3 years from now trying to repair it by having to buy all new ones.
Yeah, I agree as well, Chairman. That's why I asked, if it wouldn't take us out of, warranty, but I wouldn't want to risk that.
Sure. All right. So is there a motion to approve the quote by Bob's Heating and Cooling?
What's
I'll
the
make a
number on
motion.
that, Kevin?
1 second. The number,
It's kind of hard to read. 740? Is it 740?
I think it's 748, Alderman Klinker. It's
Okay.
either 740 or 748.
Okay, I'll second it.
Who made the motion? I'm sorry.
I made the motion, Bilotto.
Bilotto with the motion, Klinker with the second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed signify by saying nay. All right, motion's carried unanimously. We'll come back to number E. Let's get all the actual business items out of the way. So next, number F is the leachate meter. Mr. Alvarez, if you wanted to discuss this, I believe this comes under your purview of things, please.
Yes, Alderman Bilotto, this is Eric Alvarez with Robinson Engineering. Can everybody hear me okay?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, great. So what this quote is for is a quote from Gas Voda Pumps, who are the people who originally installed the flow meter at the leachate lift station at the Meadows Golf Course. It's an annual calibration which is required for the meter to register the sewage leaving the lift station into the Waste Reclamation District sewer, and it's for about $700 per year. Yeah, that's it. Pretty simple.
All right, any questions?
Yes, I have a question.
Sure, go ahead, Alderman.
Is it possible for that money to come out of the golf course?
Sure, Alderman, I'll make sure to have Dave Myers bill it to the golf course account. Or
Okay.
Topeka, can you bill that to the golf course account, please?
Yes, I can.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I forgot we have Topeka now, so. All right, any other questions? No, is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion. Klinker.
By Alderman
I'll
Klinker.
second.
Is there a second?
I'll second, Bilotto.
Bilotto, all right. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right, motion's carried. Item number G is the Kelsag Trail. Eric, is this you again? Is this follow-up from the appropriation?
Yeah, yes, Alderman, it is. Again, this is Eric Alvarez speaking. So myself and Mark Miller have been doing a little bit of digging into the Kelsag Trail, the construction phase this summer and how it's going to be paid as far as the appropriations. We're still not to the bottom of it yet, but what I can report is for sure, we have NFWF around $280,000 of which is earmarked to cover the construction cost of this phase and the engineering. And the only thing we're still checking on is whether or not there's still funding in the CalSag Trail joint account that would reduce that obligation from the grant funding. But as a summary, the CalSag Trail construction costs should not cost the city any money except for grant funding and money that the city has already paid into the trail. So we're just ironing out the details now.
All right. So I don't think we need any action on that item.
I
Any
just want to
questions?
clarify, this Alderman Bilotto.
Sure, go
Alderman
ahead.
Bilotto, I want to clarify just from our other meeting. Is this where we were not sure if it was, and we know it's passed through. Is this something, did you guys figure out if we need to add it into our budget? Or we don't have the information yet?
Alderman Bilotto, not yet. It's
Okay.
just a matter of figuring out, first we have to figure out the, if there's money in the shared account that Blue Island's already contributed, in which case we might not have to add anything at all because it's already there in the account. We just
It's already there.
have to figure it
Okay.
out.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? No, all right, moving right along. We're at, 1 second. Number H, the 2020 sewer budget. Excuse me, all right, Mr. Alvarez, I believe this is still you, so.
Yep, okay. So the 2020 sewer TV and cleaning, this is the engineer's estimate for that project. The plans are through our final QA process and are ready to be put out for advertisement. I wanted to just run through some of the details on the project with you all so you can get an idea of it and give us the final go-ahead. So it's divided into 3 areas, which come out of 30% of the project comes out of the water sewer fund, 30% from the TIF, or 70% from the TIFs. The area in the water sewer fund is part of our matching funds for the Collins Street resurfacing and repair this summer, the CDBG project. And yeah, so the criteria for the sewers this year were sewers that have not been inspected for over 20 years. They'll be inspected, cleaned, and we have a budget remaining for any repair work that may be needed. And yeah, I think those are the details, unless there are questions.
Just 1 second, I'm just pulling. How much are we expecting this to cost us?
So this project overall in total will cost, the estimated construction cost is $186,000. 53,000 of which comes from the water and sewer fund, and the remainder from TIFs 2 and 5.
Got it. All right, are there any questions? Is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Alderman Bilotto with the motion, Alderman Johnson with the second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any nays? All right, ayes have it. Moving along. The Dunkin'
Alderman-
Donuts. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Alderman Donahue, if I could just quickly, Randy, while I think I've got you on the line too, I'm going to follow up with you tomorrow then since that passed and get you the advertising notice for the Tribune.
That'll be perfect.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, Alderman Donahue, didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're fine. All right, next item I, the Dunkin' Donuts parking lot. Mr. Alvarez, please keep going.
Sure, okay, so this is a follow-up item from, I'm sure you all are familiar, that's been ongoing. So we've done some drilling investigation underneath the parking lot there. We've determined a remedial action for what would be needed to fix the underlying soil problem underneath the parking lot in the northern half, which is experiencing some pretty serious pavement distress. The estimate hasn't really changed from the preliminary one we gave, construction cost of $290,000, and an overall project cost of $348,000. And this would be coming from a combination of the TIF districts, TIF District 5 and the parking lot fund. And I get what we'd be looking for now is the approval to do a detailed survey and start design plans where we would bring some alternative designs to Community Development Committee. We were asked to look into the lighting. Last week, Jim Polstroll and I looked at the lighting system there, and we can give you some recommendations at the next Community Development Committee.
All right, any questions?
This is Alderman Bilotto here. Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Alderman Bilotto, you were first.
We discussed this, Alderman Johnson too, at the community development. The funds for this come out of the restricted funds of TIF and parking lot fund, which can't be used for anything else. I know there was a citizen concern about holding off. Holding off on this, it's not, we can't use the money for anything else other than parking lot renovation. So I just want to state that. I can go either way. We can hold off. I mean, we've held off for probably, I don't know, Dex, what do you think, 20 years on this parking lot? We could hold off a little bit longer if we wanted to, but as you know, and the rest of the council know, I just wanted to let you guys know, it's restricted funds. We can't use anywhere else anyway.
Yeah, I agree with you, Alderman Bilotto. It's just that, right now with this crisis, and I know we can't use the funds for anything else, but we're looking at another 15-day layoff, as far as not really being able to do nothing to April 30th. We don't know, what's going on with our city as far as our first responders and things of that nature. But like you said, we can hold off a little while longer, not throwing it, Alvarez work to the side, but just, who knows where we might be going in the next 15 days.
Alderman Bilotto again, I'm sure we can hold off until the next meeting. We could take this up again, correct, Mr. Alvarez?
Yep, that's right. I mean,
Yeah.
it's subsiding in
we'll
the
have more
pavement's bed, but it's not, there's no
Yeah.
emergency repairs that are needed there. Not that I know.
We'll have the lighting quote by then too, so let's just hold off until the next time. All right, is there a
I got it.
motion?
I have no issue.
Is there a motion to table?
I'll make a motion to table to the next finance.
All right, is there
And
a
I'll
second?
second it. I got seconded, Johnson.
Got it. All right, all in favor of tabling signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, ayes have it. Moving on to the letter J. And ironic, we have then the JJK CPA, which is John Kasperick CPA engagement letter for the audit for this year. Are there any questions on this item?
What's the detail behind this item? Alderman,
I'm sorry, Alderman Alexander, can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
I said, what is this detail item for on the agenda?
Sure. So the detailed item it's the engagement letter for December 31st, 2019, and years 2020. The fee, it's approximately 1.9% each year, rounded up. In addition, we have left the fee for the IL AFR at $2,000 and the fee for each TIF report at $1,000 per TIF. There are no increases to those fees. We have included the police and fire pension fees. The increase for these is $150 per year, which is around 1.75% per year increase. Any other questions?
No, thank you.
Hi, Alderman. If I may, I just wanted to quantify those numbers for you.
Sure.
So last year, the audit engagement cost us around $7,200. It was a little, I'm sorry, it was around $7,100. And this year it's going to cost us around $72,000. My apologies. This year it's going to cost us around $72,800, which is about an increase of $1,250. If you want to know like what those percentages break down to. So I just wanted to add that note.
All right. Hey, Carrie, I know you're on the line, and I saw it's for 2019 and 2020. Is that we're good because that doesn't go into 21 going past the term of the mayor, correct?
Right. It's for the fiscal year that just ended in December of, this is Kerry Horvath. It's for the fiscal year that ended December 31, 19, and for the fiscal year that will end December 31 of this year, 2020. No, you're right. It does not go into 2021.
All right,
So, and you should have a short form resolution there. If not, I know I prepared one, so we'll just, if you approve this, I can just put it on your agenda for your next city council meeting on April 10th, I believe it is.
perfect. All right, any other questions?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by Alderman Bilotto. Is
I'll
there a second?
second. Klinker, second.
Second by Alderman Klinker. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. All right, the ayes have it. Moving along, item K, we have ultraviolet lights, and I'm going to turn the floor over to Fire Chief Dan Rita. Chief?
Good evening, everyone. K and L, obviously, they're, I won't say they're one and the same, but they go hand in hand in the sense that we were looking for direction, obviously, with the COVID team, trying to get an idea and a sense of, obviously, this is all going to cost money that wasn't necessarily budgeted for. So we were asking for direction on what would be probably the best way to go about it. And just to put this into context, we got the bill for the cleaning of the police station. I believe it was today that Bernie gave it to him. It was a little over $10,000 just to get that clean. So some of the discussion has been, do we want to do every building in light of what's going on, even though maybe it was not contaminated? Do we want to look at other options? And some of this was born out of, obviously, the city council meeting the other day or last week in discussion of getting the employees the proper PPE and having them clean it, which, again, I think some of that, when we're talking about deep cleaning at least, is probably beyond their scope of work, and maybe we don't want to necessarily put them in that position. The day-to-day cleaning, I think everybody's been pretty good, at least from what we've been told in these discussions or meetings, that they're keeping their workspaces clean, they're doing all that stuff. But we were looking if we wanted to go a little bit deeper. Like I said, the deep cleaning is going to be expensive. We've got a couple different vendors out there. I don't know if that was given to you guys or not, but just for instance, this one to clean a building, we're looking at $1 a square foot, or roughly $200 per worker per man hour. So as you guys can tell, it's going to add up pretty quickly with that. The alternative, and that's where the UV cleaning came into, a vendor sent that to us. Obviously, they're all out there sending things to I'm sure all the departments and cities or municipalities. And that's the information that you guys have. The larger one is going to be applied towards cleaning buildings. And I think if we purchased one of those, that we would look at obviously sharing that for the city, or that would be for the city, and to be able to share and do the different buildings within the city. And then the smaller one, which is priced at the $49.90, that would be used to clean vehicles, in addition to above and beyond the daily cleaning and sanitation that they're doing already. So we were just looking for direction. Some of this, again, I should say some of it, hopefully all of it is going to be reimbursed. There's some things that Howard's working on through FEMA, through the Cook County Department of Homeland Security and IEMA to get reimbursed. So we're getting all the forms together for that as far as to be reimbursed for it. I think we can apply all of this towards that. So I guess we're just looking for direction as to what you guys thought would probably be the best way to go direction wise with it.
All right, thank you, Chief. Are there any questions? Fred, Jimmy, Dexter, or Annette?
I do. I'm sorry, this is Alderman Johnson. Chief, with the UV lights,
Mm-hmm.
what is the percentage rate of them like cleaning?
According to this, it's 99.999999%, Alderman Johnson.
Okay.
So
Pretty
Yeah,
much
that-
like bleach.
yeah, correct. They said this will kill everything And I don't, Alderman Donahue, you got that, right? In the packet, did Topeka get that to you? The handout on those?
I don't know. I don't see it.
Okay, I can send it to everybody again. It gives you guys an idea of what it is, but they're saying it's 99.99%. Will kill everything.
What's the cost on that?
The large one that will clean the buildings is $62.49 plus shipping. That's $6,249. And the small one that can be used for the vehicles is $4,990 plus shipping.
So can, like, say for instance, I purchase one for a vehicle. Can I use it on like several vehicles, or just
Correct.
like one?
Right. That was what I was saying, is that if we bought one of each, my thought would be that you could share it obviously amongst all the departments in the city. You know, it says that it's pretty timely as far as it gets it done quickly. So, you know, yeah, that would be my thought, is that we're going to be buying multiple ones for multiple departments, that it would be one for the entire city.
Okay, because I'm looking at the police cleaning for 10,000, which pretty much is estimated about right what the going rate is. You know, because in lieu of lawsuit and things of that nature, I just want to make sure that these UV lights, you know, has that type of plan where the city won't be taking a hit from it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other questions about the UV lights? Hello,
Yeah,
Alderman Bilotto, thank you for joining us.
there you go. Jim Klinker here. So, I mean, they're just throwing ideas out here. I know we by eliminating the BIEMA, we decided to take that money and use it towards things such as this. So there would be part of a way to pay for these UV things,
Sure.
and or split it across the, different departments, as long as chief feels that that's good. I think as far as the deep cleaning is concerned, and chief, correct me if you think differently here, I don't know if it's a great idea to start deep cleaning right now, because this thing's going to go on for a while. So I don't know if these ultraviolet things would be good enough for the time being, kind of deal. And then as things kind of die down, then maybe we could address like deep cleaning all the departments. I'm just throwing ideas out there. I don't know.
No, and that Alderman Klinker, that was one of the things that, yeah, we discussed as a group too, is that the timing wise, should we be doing it now? You're exactly right. So that those things came up. I think, short term, to continue the day-to-day cleaning like all departments are doing, and then I guess supplement it with the UV and hope that it doesn't continue and it levels off. And then as we come out of this, look at the overall deep cleaning, perhaps depending on each department's needs, and go from there would probably be the best way to go about doing it.
Yeah, I like that idea. So can we make a motion to purchase these things, Kevin? It's on the agenda.
Yeah, for the ultraviolet lights, we can have a motion. So we would purchase one large, and then one small, one large one
Right.
for the buildings and grounds, and one small one for the various vehicles.
Yeah, I'll make that motion, and then I got a question after there's a second.
I'll second it. I also have a question, but
Yeah,
Are those available?
That's the thing. It's 3 to 4 weeks is the turnaround time on that. Right.
Yeah.
And I'm sure, again, I got this middle of last week. So as soon as I saw that, we were, like I said, already discussing the deep cleaning. I thought this might be a better option. When I did the inquiry, it was 3 to 4 weeks. They'll try and, like they say, speed it up and get it to, because
Yeah.
I'm sure obviously other people are in the need for it. So I'll see maybe tomorrow if she's got a better time frame, but right now, as it stands, the last time I talked to her was 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay, that's all I have.
Brad, I know you had a
Alderman
question.
Bilotto here. You mentioned earlier, we're getting reimbursed for some of the stuff we have to buy. Chief?
Some of the, yeah, Alderman Bilotto, anything that's related to the pandemic, as is most things with FEMA and natural disasters, and since this is being declared a disaster, we can seek reimbursement through the federal government. So Howard's in the process of doing that. Topeka's got her spreadsheet, and I think Alderman Donahue, you had asked for an overview of where we're at with that. So we've already been tracking the I guess the COVID cost, if you will, to try and capture as much of that as we can. Howard's doing the research. He's doing a fantastic job looking into all that stuff. So, you know, we're exploring every option to try to limit our exposure as far as the cost end of it goes.
No, thank you, Chief. And I'm 100% supportive of this. And in the meantime, is there any way possibly we could reach out to any other fire departments or cities that might already own them, if it's just flashing a light, and if it's something we can do in the meantime, and then we can share ours back and forth and so on. And I know Howard Kapari has a lot of experience with East Coast hurricanes that came through New York and New Jersey. And he was mentioning to me he's familiar with some of how this reimbursement stuff works. So I'm sure that's a good resource we have.
Well, I'll look into seeing if anybody else has any of these available.
I'm sorry, this is Alderman Johnson. I don't know if you guys know that Trump extended that 15-day quarantine. But my question to Chief Rita, is there any way that we can expedite those shipments of the shipment of the UV lights? And I'm not really in favor of sharing these lights that we're only going to get a couple of them with anybody. I'm gonna be honest with you, because with our buildings and things, because I forgot what the period of time it takes for that UV light to be able to operate in full capacity inside a vehicle or a building, that, you know, we might need to order another one.
I can,
Alderman,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, yeah, Alderman Johnson, I'm looking, yeah, like I said earlier, I'll call them tomorrow and see if we can get it sped up, or if they have better, you know, a better turnaround time than the 3 to 4 weeks.
Okay.
Alderman
If you
Johnson,
guys
this is
want
Alderman
me
Bilotto.
to,
I
I'll
agree.
get it
I was.
myself.
You going for a road trip, Alderman?
Hey, you know how we do it, Fred. If it's for the city, I'll go do it.
All right. Any other questions regarding this?
Chief Rita, this is Alderman Alexander. The UV light for the cars, does it give like a max number of cars that can be used with one UV light?
From what I read, no, it's these things should last for a while. But I certainly can ask what the shelf life is, or what they expect the longevity to be.
All right. Thank you, Chief. Anything else?
I do have one thing that was brought up Saturday, and I think in your daily briefings today, in our call, I mentioned it in that update that I sent out today. Police Chief Arzab asked me to inform you guys of the frontline public safety solution. I believe it was discussed in previous public health and safety and probably finance at some point, and they were just awaiting the contract. Just to bring you up to date, she said that she wanted you guys to know that they've moved forward with it without a contract. They're giving it to us on a temporary basis. And what this is it allows people to report or put their house on a list to be able to be looked at via email. The police receive that every day, so that if they want a premise check, they can go out there and do it. And it also, if it's, you know, non-emergency calls or something smaller in nature, that they can reach out through this app to get a hold of the police. And obviously, in light of what's going on, it's probably good to limit the face-to-face contact, if you will, for minor offenses. So she just wanted to let you guys know. Obviously, she'll bring it back to the committee and the proper committees after this is all over and done. But for the period of time that we're operating in this crisis, they're willing to let us use it without a contract and for free for that time being. So they're moving ahead with doing it. And they've had the supervisors are being trained, you know, throughout this week and beyond. And they should be, I think she's putting something out tomorrow, you know, and we'll keep you guys obviously abreast of what's happening.
I got a question, Chief Rita. I'm sorry.
Kevin, excuse me. Dexter, this is Kerry. You guys still, the committee still has to vote on that motion. You didn't.
Yeah,
you didn't vote.
All right.
Okay, good.
We'll vote right now, and we'll come back to this. All right. We had a motion. Thank you, Kerry. We had a motion by Alderman Klinker and a second by Alderman Bilotto to purchase one large UV light and one small UV light. The total probably going to be around $11,000. All in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. All right, ayes have it, motion's carried. All right, now back to really quick to this frontline discussion. Alderman Johnson, I know you had a question regarding what the chief just mentioned.
Go ahead, Alderman Donahue. I'm still putting it together.
You're still putting it together. All right, Chief, just one really quick question. Did you see Tom Logan's email? Did you get his contact info?
Yes,
So
I got it,
were
yes.
we good there with the park?
Yeah, with the closing of the park district and
Yeah.
what they're doing over there, yes, I did.
All right, and you know Teddy's the park board president too, so feel free to reach out to Ted too if there is a park district issue.
Okay.
All right, finally, we have on action items, we have the Foster and Foster engagement letter. And Carrie, cut me off if I misspeak on this, but this has to do with retirees and retirees that have the city health insurance and any current city employee who's possibly able to get city health insurance after they retire. Is that correct?
Kevin, yes, this is Kerry Horvath. Yes, this annually we have to have an audit of the other post-employment benefits that either current or former employees might have available to them. The audit sets out the anticipated cost from an actuarial point of view of these benefits. The benefit in Blue Island, the only benefit in Blue Island that gets valued is the post-employment health insurance benefit. And so this is annually required by the generally accepted standards for accounting for municipalities and becomes part of our audit.
Great, thank you, Carrie. And so the cost for this year, it's $2,500 per plan. So it's what? There's two plans, so $5,000 total is for this engagement letter for the next year. So if there's is there a motion to approve?
I'll make the motion, Klinker.
Seconded, Bilotto.
Second by Bilotto. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. All right, any opposed? All right, that's it for action items. So I just briefly, I wanted to discuss the contractual and part-time employees. So I know all our full-time employees are getting paid, and I believe the part-time coppers are still working, but we do still have some part-time employees, and just wanted to have some discussion on what we thought needed to be done with that. If they should just go file for unemployment, if we wanted to maybe pay them a pay period, just looking kind of for this committee's direction on what we should maybe recommend to the mayor's office on what to do.
This is Alderman Johnson. I would like to refer something to our city attorney. Which way would probably be the most, I guess, efficient for us to operate as a city, going through unemployment or just straight out paying them?
Well, Alderman, at this point in time, the part-time employees will benefit from the new legislation that expands the sick leave, or excuse me, yes, the sick leave and the sick leave benefit for part-time employees. As far as paying them for the services that they've already rendered, you have no choice, you must do that. As far as hiring them forward, they do have the right to file for unemployment. I don't know off the top of my head, given the new legislation that was just adopted this weekend, where they expanded unemployment benefits. I don't know how that will impact municipalities. My unlimited understanding of that is that the federal government is going to use some of that huge monetary package to reimburse the states, but it really depends, because based on if you lay someone off and it is one of their jobs, they are entitled to apply for unemployment, part-time or full-time. And without knowing exactly what your total part-time wages are, it's very difficult to say whether it behooves the city at this point to just stop using part-time employees. I will tell you this, if you get to a point where you have to start looking at whether to keep all of your full-time employees, then you must lay off your part-time employees first. Now, in the fire department, you have none. And in public works, I don't believe you have any left. I'm not quite sure how many you have. I don't believe you have many in the police clerical staff. You may have one. I don't know that there are any in administration at City Hall. There were some in the golf course. I think there were 3 or 4 at the golf course. And I'm not sure about the rec center, but there may have been a few there. And then you have the part-time police. That number I don't have in front of me. But to answer your question, for the short term, it may be beneficial to keep them working. And if we can, maybe by the next time you all meet, we can get a better handle on how many officers work in the police department, what the part-time payroll is, and the necessity for their to continue them on the performing their duties. I don't want to be evasive, but I just don't know enough about it, Alderman Johnson.
This is
Thanks.
Alderman Bilotto with the question. I got a question, Alderman Bilotto here.
Fred.
Alderman Donahue, or maybe I just need clarification. With the police department or part-time police officers, shouldn't be affected. They're still working. They should be on the street, yada, yada, right? Is this more about like golf course bartenders or rec center employees outside of our salaried staff?
Yeah, that's what I know. So I know Mr. Ruthenberg has brought up trying to get direction what he should do with his part-time employees. And I know the rec center has the same thing. And I know the blue cap, I know talking to Randy last week, he mentioned the blue cap, we have a couple of the students or residents of the blue cap who come and clean part of City Hall. And obviously I don't want to put anyone in a situation where if they're relying on, even if it's a small piece of income, that they're expecting to get this, and even if they're not able to do it. So that's why I was kind of looking for direction on a recommendation we can make to the mayor's office. And again, like Carrie said, they did release some stuff about part-time employees being able to file for unemployment. I think we kind of do need some more direction as needed. But again, I'm just afraid, like, I don't want to have the blue cap residents or students come to City Hall and work and possibly contaminate themselves because the building's, it's tight quarters, it's small, but like at the golf course, they're still able to come in, they're able to social distance properly and able to clean. So they're able to have 1 or 2 guys there, but there's still a couple people who are out of work. So again, just not looking for anything concrete. I just wanted to provide some sort of maybe recommendation to help some of these people who are retirees, who are part-time employees who live and work in our community, who are possibly retiring out or relying on this $100 check every 2 weeks, $300 check.
Kevin.
You know, what we can do, Alderman Donahue, this is Kerry again. What we can do is try to get a handle on the number of part-time, what the maximum wage cost is, and then get that information to you. I don't think, you meet every week, right? Do you meet every week?
So we meet every other, but I was going to suggest with everything going on and the need for possibly emergency purposes, we start meeting every week on Monday, if that's okay with everybody.
We could probably get between finance and then the department heads that have part-time employees, we could probably get you a pretty hard number by next Monday, and maybe even sooner. And in the interim, if there are people that are actually doing beneficial work for the various departments the departments they work for, I don't think it's going to break the city's bank to keep them employed for another, 5 days, 6 days, to see exactly what the city's exposure is.
Kevin,
But you guys are the money people, so you have to make that call.
Alderman,
I agree. I agree to that myself personally. This is Alderman Johnson. I was just trying to find out where we're at, Kerry, with that, because like they say, help is on the way. So, but how many times we gonna clean a building that don't have no occupancy? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So Finance Committee, if I may, this is Topeka. I just want to make everyone aware that we actually already appropriated for their wage expenses. So it's not like it's going to be an additional expense to the city to continue to pay them. The funds have already been allocated per department for their part-time employees. So we've already taken into account how much they're going to cost each department. The pandemic is like a sidebar. It's something that happened in addition to us going forward with our regular city business. So I just wanted to put that on the table for everyone to think about.
Sure.
We've already kind of accounted for the expense of wages for the year. So
Sure, but here, so Topeka,
Alderman,
but
Alderman Donahue, just one
I
comment.
don't want to run into a situation where, like, the blue cap people, I don't want them to get jammed up because they obviously can't come into work. My concern is the golf course where they're still able to come in, but they shouldn't be coming in every day. Because there's stuff that needs to be done there. They could still clean. They could still safely do it, socially distanced from each other. I just don't want to be giving people checks or not actually doing any work when there's still work to safely be done and safely come in, where our part-time police are still doing it. The part-time, we don't have any public works. There's no fire department. Where these people could safely come in, do the job, and they're just not sitting around for 3 weeks where they're not on call, not doing anything. So there's a human factor to it where I want people still to get paid, but I also want them to still be held accountable to some standard where we're just not printing money out just to give money out. If that makes
And
sense.
Alderman Donahue, I agree. And
that makes
I want to make
perfect
another
sense.
clarification.
That makes perfect sense. I was just stating for the
Topeka,
committee.
I'm going to state something for the committee also, Topeka, just so you're aware. A majority of our budget, not a majority, but a good healthy portion is sales tax, gambling tax, gas taxes, stuff that we're not collecting right now when all these businesses are closed down, and we're probably going to be hit with some decreased revenue income streams very soon if this continues. I know just from our gambling tax alone is $600,000-$700,000 a year, which we're not going to collect anything if the bars are closed, and then the sales tax is probably 2 or 3 times that. So we're talking millions of dollars. The longer this goes, we won't be collecting. So I'm agreeing that the few hundreds of dollars here and there for the part-time employees is it's just a drop in the bucket in the long term of things, but we're probably going to have to make some big decisions if this continues on very soon.
I agree.
All right. Well, so Topeka and Kerry, could you guys possibly provide us just with a list of everyone we have, and so we could vote on something next Monday? Is that possible?
Kevin, I'll discuss it with Topeka tomorrow, okay?
Okay, sounds great.
And I know Randy, you were trying to jump in. Randy, did Mr. Clerk, if you wanted?
I was just going to say that although where my wife works, what they had done is they took the last 4 pay periods. They totally shut down, but they took the last 4 pay periods and figured out how much was being lost because of it, and are paying that way. And I think we're going to basically find out that it's the people that can work, like at the golf course, like you mentioned, Kevin, and the people that can work, the police department, the part-time officers, it's not going to really affect them. I think the only people really is going to be the blue cap workers who have been told to stay home. I don't think it's going to be that big of a number, but it's something that you have to look at. Absolutely.
Hey, Jim Klinker here. And I completely agree with all this, but the thing my question is, you're talking about the golf course. I think Alderman Johnson just mentioned it. I mean, there's only so much cleaning you can do with a place that nobody's at, so we need to keep that in mind too.
All right.
Once it's clean, and there's nobody in it.
There's
You get what I'm saying?
prep work to get the carts ready. There's stuff to prep for the year for the golf season, which who knows when that's going to start anymore. But that's the stuff that was telling me about.
Well, I'm just saying we need to keep an eye on things. That's all. I really want to keep, we need to keep a close eye on all expenses.
No, right, and Alderman Klinker, I think this is, I'm not looking for anyone to get just a freebie who's a part-time worker, but if there's work to be done, or say they would normally be working to do something, to give them just some relief on during this crisis. And again, we need more numbers, we need some more information. I just wanted to have a conversation so we could have a better understanding of what we need to do and be prepared to do it and make a decision in the next week or so.
Okay.
Yeah, and I agree, Kevin, because, you know, like you said, we don't know where we're going with this thing. They say the virus can live on the surface even after 17 days. So we talking about we clean now and somebody touches something, you know, I just don't want to just, you know, overkill.
Oh, right, absolutely. So, all right, so I think we have had enough good discussion on this, and we have Topeka and Carrie going to get us some follow-up. Is everyone okay meeting again next Monday at 6?
Yep.
Yeah, I'm okay. This is Alderman Johnson. I'm okay with it, but is it possible to pay them now until we, you know, come to a concrete decision?
I don't know if they've been, I think it's hard because no one's been keeping track of hours or anything. So I think there might be a little delay until the next pay period.
So if I may, committee again, so I sent out a COVID time tracker that I created. So I just created it for like administrative purposes so that the department heads could be a little bit more organized with their teams as they're going to be doing like skeleton schedules. So they've been doing a pretty good job of keeping track of their personnel using that time card. So I think we have a good idea or sense of who are the key part-time employees who are coming in regularly.
And also, if I may, I'll piggyback on that Topeka a little bit. So like the skeleton crews, like at Public Works and the clerk's office to keep people healthy, we code that as COVID-19 and probably going to be reimbursable through the FEMA grant. So we're doing like Topeka said, everyone's doing a pretty good job of keeping track of, you know, what the actual cost to the city of this pandemic. And I think, I'm not 100% certain, so I don't want to talk out of school, but I think we're going to be able to be reimbursed for a lot of this.
Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Randy. All right. So I don't want to make any decision on these part-timers until we have some more information.
Okay.
And I think we'll have that for next Monday.
Okay, so what you're looking for from me is a list of all the part-time employees, or like, can you just be a little bit more explicit?
I think we're looking for essential part-time employees at the city. The blue cap ones, the essential ones at the golf course who've been working and I'm not talking the ones who came in just for seasonal work, but I know Teddy and Vinny keep on 2 or 3 guys in the winter for parties and different things. So whatever that list Teddy has, and then just a list of the part-timers at the police station, so we just know what we're dealing with there.
Okay.
All right?
That sounds good.
All right. Are there any other questions, concerns from members of the committee before we adjourn?
Yeah, I have one quick comment. Go ahead, Dex.
You sure?
Yeah, go ahead.
This is for Chief Rita and Arzab and anybody who knows. How do we look on ALS training? And do we have enough PPE for the first responders and maybe the people who cleaning up and things of that nature?
ALS, that's a financial burden. I think we had that somewhat we had that in the budget. So ALS, as far as training, we have 12 of the 25 are currently paramedics, but our situation would be to have to upgrade in equipment, and there's a pretty hefty price tag on that. As previously discussed in both public health and safety, I don't think it ever made it to finance, but that's the cost that's going to be incurred. Then also, obviously, them going to class to get all the others trained to that level, which at this time there's no classes going on, so that's another issue. As far as the PPE, we're doing pretty good as far as that. We have shipments coming in pretty much daily. We did just get a donation in eyewear and gloves from School District 218. this afternoon. So they dropped that off from the science classes. They were able to collect them since they're not going to be using them this year. So they were able to donate those to us today.
Cool.
The rest, there is some stuff funneling down through the Department of Homeland Security. And then also today, or either today or this weekend sometime, IDPH is going to start getting the needed resources as far as PPE to their resource hospitals, and we'll be able to start getting it through them as well. So we're doing pretty good as far as that goes. The ALS, again, that's something, again, long term that it's been mentioned that we should be looking at for a variety of reasons. But again, there's going to be a hefty price tag along with that. So that's what we have regarding that.
All right.
Thank you, Chief Reed.
Anything else, Dexter?
No, I'm
Alderman
good,
Klinker, I think-
Chairman. Thank you.
Great. Alderman Klinker, go ahead.
Yep, mine's actually a request. Topeka, first of all, welcome to the city of Blue Island.
Thank you.
My request is, and I asked the mayor the other day at a meeting, and I asked all last year with the previous finance director, and it's beating a dead horse, and I'm sure you're gonna come through with this for us. I'd like to see the monthly revenue and expense reports monthly to this committee if we could, at the end of every month. I know it's fairly easy with the Smart Fusion program. I used it when I was fire chief. Just, a printout, obviously an email now is what it's gonna have to be while this is all going on. But last year we had a lot of problems with the guy that was in the job before you, and he never got us that. I asked for it a whole bunch of times and never got it. And I think it's real important that we stay on top of money even before this whole COVID thing started. So just a request. All right, thank you.
Absolutely. You got it. No problem.
And just really quick, I know Topeka, and I saw Dave was on the phone. I sent a request about where we're at on the legal bills so far for this year. So if you could follow back up with me on that sometime this week, I'd appreciate that. Thank you.
No problem. I know I have 2 outstanding requests from you in addition to this part-time request. So that's 3 items that I have. Now I'll follow up with you on all 3 of those items before the end of this week.
All right, perfect. Anything else? Anyone? No? All right. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make the motion.
Yeah.
Klinker,
Alderman
seconded
Johnson.
by Alderman Johnson. All right, all in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All right, we are adjourned at 7:06 PM, and we'll catch everyone next Monday at 6 PM. Same bad time, same bad channel.
See you
Have a good
later.
night. Stay
Good night.
safe.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Feel
night.
better,
Good
Annette.
night.